Good evening, folks. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the drivers into the session and the stream all sorted out. I'm going to quickly put out a little apology as I'm a little bit under the weather. I may not sound it right now, but I'm trying not to push my voice too much, but I will try my very best to give you the best commentary that I can provide, as, you know, excellence is always what I strive for. But anyway, I will catch you guys in just a few moments' time.
Holds the F1 record for the shortest time elapsed before picking up a penalty. He was caught speeding in the pit lane in practice for the 2006 Turkish Grand Prix almost immediately after he exited the garage, just 9 seconds into his F1 career. One of the longest broadcasted races was also one of the shortest. The 2021 Belgian Grand Prix lasted only 3 minutes and 27 seconds, the race being flagged due to wet weather conditions on lap 3.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 1 for tonight's dose of racing action. My name is SUMO, and I shall be your commentator, bringing you all of the on-track action the only way that I know how, with as much excitement and enthusiasm as I can muster. It's round number 9 of APPF1 Tier 1, where for the penultimate round of this championship, we head to Baku in Azerbaijan for this 6.003 kilometer circuit that winds its way through the streets of the Baku city, just off the coast of the Caspian Sea. 20 corners will see us taking the sights, if but briefly, on a lap around this circuit, where we go through the castle section. There's plenty of 90-degree corners to be had, as well as a kilometre-long straight all the way from turn 16 all the way down towards turn number 1, which makes its way through the second of 2 DRS zones and across the start-finish line. But it's the penultimate round, and it's going to be easy. No, what? I've lost my place. But it's going to be a tough circuit for the drivers to navigate, is what I was trying to say, as it is one where lockups are very, very prevalent, very easy to do, and the drivers are going to have to avoid hitting the walls as they try and survive the Baku City Street circuit. Hello, Lapis. I could use Lapis. I did see in the chat, yes, but Lupakova, is that correct? Have I pronounced that correctly? If there's one thing I've learned from my time from studying drama, is pronunciation is everything, and I always try whatever names I come up with, even if they are, you know, I've been doing a lot of commentary on people who use their actual names, and I get a lot of Polish or Italian or just names that have some tricky pronunciations in there, but I've been trying my very best to get those. But I will use Lapis in short, more than likely. But if I feel like saying Lupakova, if I've got it right, then sure, I'll do whichever. But thanks for letting me know. I do appreciate that, actually. But let's take a quick look at the standings. Then RJ's leading us off on a lap. He's got a long ways to go. Yeah, he's only made his way through turn number 2 in the McLaren. But we're taking a look over the championship standings as they are from China last week. 88 Chris then leads the way, 113 points for the Mercedes driver. Lifebout, defending champion, of course, he's only 6 points behind his teammate on 107, with Finley on 101. He's still in this, despite a couple weeks ago where he had a big incident and thought the fat lady had truly started singing. Well, she hasn't, folks. Red Flame Joe, 74, looking set for best of the rest, but Jackalacco not too far behind on 67 points. Then there is 63 points for Banter Brandon. Rick on 62, just a point behind. Then a point behind him is Robbie Pfeiffer, who I believe is not here today. Then Ghost on 53, hoping to break himself into the top 5, the top 6 perhaps as well. Then there's Speed Alcoholic, who rounds off the top 10 on 45 points. Then we have Lawrence, Yasko Kirill, JBS Steve, MX, Whizburn, LB, Nice Job, Daphne Hillis, Alex Duarte, Womax, Jonathan, MCL, RJ Blair, Palang, Bab, Nuno Lima and Krauser, rounding off the 27 drivers who have participated in this season. Then we take a look over to the constructors, and I think it's well and truly gone Mercedes' way, unless anything drastic happens to the team. With 220 points for the Mercedes outfit, whose next closest rival are Aston Martin on 136, closely followed by AlphaTauri, just 4 points down on 132. Then there's the Williams team on 127, 110 for the Alpine outfit in P5. Then there's 106 points for Alfa Romeo. Ferrari P7 on 69 points, 49 points for the Haas outfit. McLaren and Red Bull tied at the bottom on 47 points, P9 and 10 respectively. Pretty well pronounced, I'll take it. But there's RJ then, he sets the pace at 142.0. You know what, this is a circuit I used to really enjoy, and ever since I've come onto Will, I cannot get to grips with it. It is a circuit that has been quite a bogey track for me thus far, and it's a shame. Well, it's made even worse by the fact that I've got to race it on Tuesday, and I mean, I don't have to, but I will. I want to race, I want to try and practice, and I might have to try and get some practice in tomorrow perhaps. But let's see, Jackalacco, can he beat the representative time? So he can. A 1 minute 49.573 for the Scotsman in the Aston Martin, hoping to clinch P2 in the Constructors' Championship. Are Rick and Jacko have been teammates for a fair little while now, actually. Come to think about it. But let's take a look. Let's find your next driver. I think Lawrence is going to be the next driver to set a lap. Reserve driver here, of course, I believe, in Tier 1. Yes, he's got to be. I think. I can't remember. I'm so in and out of this series that I come in and I don't remember much. But the Ferrari making his way down the straight. It's a 1 minute 42.9. I think he's got some more time underneath him as MX now goes the fastest, a 41.4. And qualifying around here is important. Not as important as it is around some street tracks, that truth be told. But it is important, and I will point out we do have a couple of newbies here. Jake Donald in the Haas, or Donaldinho, yeah, I think that's right. I'll just call him Jake in the Haas, though. Here driving, he's at a 1 minute 42.6. He'll be hoping to go faster on his next tour of the track, as Alex Duarte has gone a little bit faster as well. Let's run up with Rick, who's going to be the next driver to cross the line. There is also Lupakova, or Lapis as we're going to call him. He's making his way around the circuit for his first lap. We'll check back in with the Red Bull a little bit later on. What about Rick, the Dutchman? He now goes the top of the pile, 1 minute 41.435 for the Aston Martin driver. Not a bad attempt in the slightest. Here's Ghost. This could be a decent time from the Williams driver. He's been racing with no line this whole season long, and he's been making some steady progress. And his P9 for Ghost, bottom of the pile for the time being. I'm sure he's got something more in the tank. How about Red Flame Joe, his teammate? I think he backed off on his previous lap. He's going to go again. So we're still waiting to see what he's got out there. Championship leader ETA Chris out on the circuit. Lifebout still yet to venture out onto the track. Not working together, perhaps, or the Mercedes duo this time, because they're fighting each other. This is a championship between two teammates, and it could go down to the very wire, depending on how it goes. If you enjoy the racing action, folks, I will say, we've got 2 streams tonight. My poor voice, I know, but we have got the penultimate round here of APPF1 Tier 1, and then about 15-20 minutes after that, we have the finale of the reverse sprint championship over on ESRL, which sees Short Marcus and TF Martin tied going into the final round. So Scott gave me a bunch of information, which I'll explain to you over on that stream, but don't miss that one. It's going to be an absolute barnstormer, I know it is, because we've had some absolutely fantastic racing with VSRL over the past couple of weeks, and I've really enjoyed my time there, and I hope you guys have as well. Let's check in then. Lapis making his way around the circuit. We'll try and get a little tour of the track for you as well. We'll try and catch somebody on a full lap if I can. But Lapis making his way around the track, sitting a purple sector, but we'll ignore that on these first runs. Of course, a little bit too much curb there on the second part of the chicane as he makes his way down towards turn number 7, the appropriately numbered car number 7, making his way through now into the tricky tight castle section. Don't pull a Charles Leclerc, don't put it in the wall, keeping it out of the wall nice and tidy from the Red Bull driver. Now on to not quite straight, it's more of a flat out section of a few kinks, and then one of the trickiest braking zones on the Formula 1 calendar. It's so hard to not lock up here, but not locking up is Lapis, perfectly navigating that corner. Maybe could carry a bit more speed if he dares. And then through the last actual corner on the circuit, I mean, I suppose these couple are corners, but they're flat out, so not in a Formula 1 car really. But making his way through now, the last corner, as the track classifies it, turn 20, has just been navigated, and now it's straight all the way down. The rear wing open with the DRS. Where can the debutant place himself in amongst the pile in the Red Bull? It's a 1 minute 41.928. Not a bad attempt. There's definitely going to be more time to find out there as the track ramps up. Let's see ETA Chris out on the circuit as well. He's going to set his first time in the session. Expect it to be quick, as he has been leading the way. There is Lifebout. They are working together, and these two really dominated the Constructors' Championship all season. This teamwork has really helped them along, I think, and Lifebout's going to pull his teammate all the way down to the start-finish line. He'll start his lap as his teammate sets the fastest time on a 1 minute 40.9. Just finishing off my tea. That's gonna keep my throat at least somewhat not sore. I think my cough sweets have disappeared. I don't know where I put them. I might have to go find them if I get a chance, because I feel like I'm gonna need them. They might still be in my jeans, actually, wherever my jeans have gone. But I'll leave you with ETA Chris. The system update. Install that overnight tablet. Don't do that right now. I'm streaming. Let's see, please be in my jeans. They're not in my jeans, folks. This is not good. Well, it's too late to look for those now. Or are they under my keyboard? They're not under my keyboard. I don't know where I put my cough sweets, but it's okay. Hello, Marcus. Right, let's see. Lawrence out of the session. Has he crashed Lifebout out of the session as well? I've missed some drama while I've been looking for my cough sweets, but your championship contender Lifebout out of the session. What happened, Lifebout? Let me know. Did you just lock up and put it in the wall? That's the most likely scenario around this circuit. It is not an easy one to navigate at all. Especially if you're Ghost without his line there. I tried a little bit of no line around this track. It was terrifying to say the least. But let's see. Have I got anybody starting a lap? I do. I think MX has just started a lap. So let's see. Coming down into turn number 1. Brake as late as you possibly can. Carry as much speed through the first corner. And then into turn number 2. Try not to lock up here. It's one of the danger spots for locking up. Don't run too wide or hit the wall on the exit. But get as close as you can. Now opening up the DRS for the first time. All the way up into 8th gear. And then being careful not to lock up here as well. It's going to be a running theme through this track. Carry as much speed as you can through turn number 3 and then into turn 4. Now down through into 3rd gear. You can take it in 2nd if you really want to, but it will slow you down. Then in towards the chicane here, through into 3rd gear for the first part and the second part to really get that rotation in the car. Now down to turn 7. Let's see what his sector time is. I've missed the sector line, so we're not going to worry about that. It's now in towards the castle section. Tricky. You've got to be committed. You can really gain a lot of time here if you're confident with the car underneath your feet. And as you go through now, careful not to run too wide. MX does that as he makes his way through this section of circuit. Now seeing all these old and fantastic buildings. I'd love to visit this city if I ever got the chance, but it takes a little bit too much curb here. It's really high. You don't want to touch many of the curbs on this circuit. Turn 16, now carry the speed through there. Get on the power as early as you dare. Purple to the middle sector is MX. This could be a great lap time. The current time is a 1 minute 39.17 to beat. That's set by Finley, his teammate. What can the German-Canadian do behind the wheel of this Alpha Tower? He opens the DRS up for one final time. A few more meters now to the line. What's the time going to be? It's a 1 minute 41.292. Only a tenth better than his previous attempt, and not enough to see him up any positions. Gosh, I'm really baffled as to where those cough sweets have gone. That's the one thing I needed to have nearby on hand. I feel like I've left them downstairs. I'll try and go in between qualifying and the race if I can. But yes, hello to the 7 people watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share around, do all of that stuff. All the support really does go a long way, and I appreciate you guys tuning in when you do to come and watch. I know most of you are just the drivers or the members of the community, but all the support really does help, and I appreciate you all so very much. And Finley, by the way, I've only just realised, almost a second clear of ET8 Chris. That's a mighty lap time from Finley. I don't think he'll come out again. We're actually on to the final 3 minutes of the session, folks, so this qualifying session has flown by, but it is a very long track, as you can tell by the lap times. I think it's not the longest. That goes to Spa, but it comes close. I think Spa's 6.007. This is 6.003. So there's only 0.004 of a kilometre in it. There you go, folks. Let's see, Rick. I think this will be his final run of the night. He's starting it. He backed off his previous. I've got a lot of battery. No, never mind. He's coming into the pit lane. That's him done for this evening. But everybody else now spilling out into the pit lane. Who is leading the way for them? It looks like it's Palang in the Red Bull. So he'll be the first across the line, unless Speed Alcoholic has anything to say about it, who's cutting his way through the traffic. But anybody actually out on a lap? Is Ghost on a lap? No, he's not. Ghost may have attempted a lap. Let's see what he does. Is he going to pull into the pit lane? He's not got the red flashing fuel light on, so what's Ghost up to? So now Jackalacco looks to be the lead driver, and the driver's looking to go quicker. Yeah, Ghost is going to go on a lap, then we'll watch alongside the 6-time sprint champion, the 2 or 3-time Tier 1 champion, as he locks up into turn 1, and that is his qualifying over. And he knows it. Oh, Ghost. So easily done at this circuit. It's such a horrendous track. Especially with no 9, and especially with somebody new to wheel. It was awful when I tried to do a career mode race around here. I gave up and simulated it in the end because I just didn't enjoy myself. And, you know, there's nothing worth doing if you don't enjoy it. Is my current mindset at the moment. So, I enjoy this, so I do it. But I'll try my very best on Tuesday. I've had a great race, all things considered, on last Tuesday around China. Actually fighting with the drivers that I need to be fighting with for the championship. Well, I'm not in the championship fight, but for at least a better championship position. But I'll stop rambling on about my campaign in Tier 2, and we'll carry on and watch Jackalacko as he starts up his final lap of the session. 37 seconds on the clock as we go through. Jackalacko navigates turn 2 fairly steadily, could maybe carry a bit more speed perhaps, but he comes down the line. Car number 8, again, don't get the braking zone wrong here. So easy to lock up in a lot of the corners around this track. Most corners around this circuit are 90-degree corners, other than the odd few kinks in the flat out sections. It's all 90-degree. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7's not quite 90-degree. 10 is 90-degree roughly. 15 and 16 are about 90 degrees, so about 50% of the corners around the track maybe, or just under that percentage. But anyway, Jackalacko navigating the castle section very well. Runs very deep though. That's invalidated his time. That is qualifying over for the Scotsman. How about Palang? This is his one and only chance to set a lap. He's not invalidated yet. What's he going to do? He's not too far from the Sector 2 line. That's just before turn 16. So we're yet to see, but it will probably show purple as this will be his first and only timed lap of the session. So it won't be too accurate as to where he's going to be. Or perhaps not purple then. It's not looking the best of the laps from Palang, but it might see him at least elevated out of P14 and will make sure that Lawrence stays P14. And well, Lifebout, he crashed and is going to be starting at the back of the grid. Let's see what Palang can do in the Red Bull. Lapis, I think, is out on circuit as well. We'll wait and see what he can do. Let's see. Palang P10, just into the top 10 at 142.1. Has anybody else got anything to say about it? How about speed? 1 minute 41.1, season P4. Not a bad attempt from the South African driver. How about RJ Blair in the McLaren? He's peeling into the pit lane. That's his session done. What about our best of the rest driver, Red Flame Joe, on the front row for Williams? That's a great lap. Jake improves into the top 10 as well. Lapis unable to improve his position, and the Mercedes of ETA Chris had a bit more in the tank. He's got a 10th quicker than Finley. That's a mighty lap from the championship leader. What a response from ETA Chris in the dying moments of this qualifying session. You've got ETA Chris and his next closest challenger other than Lifebout Finley lining up on the front row. Baku always been an interesting track to set up because good quality setup is always terrible in a race. Need to compromise so much. Yeah, there's a lot of tracks like that on the Formula 1 calendar at the moment. I always class Abu Dhabi as one of those circuits as well, in a sense, but it's a bit more of a case. It's not versus qualifying versus race. It's more of if you compromise yourself in sector 1 and 3, you're going to feel it. Yeah, 1 and 3, no, or sectors 1 and 2, you're going to feel it in sector 3, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, ETA Chris lines up on pole position for this evening's race with Finley alongside him. Red Flame Joe in P3, and Rick rounds off the second row of the grid. Speed Alcoholic makes up your top 5, with Jackalacko rounding off the third row in the sister Aston Martin. Then Lapis, the Finnish driver in the Red Bull, P7, with MX in P8. RJ and Jake Donaldinho round off the top 10 with Palang, Alex Guarte, Ghost, Lawrence and Lifebout, who was unable to set a qualifying lap after what I can only assume to be a crash. Now, I'm going to take a few moments, find these cough sweets, and we'll be back and ready for some racing. Well, panic averted, folks. I found them. They were down in the kitchen. Must have emptied my pockets while I was down there. But cough sweets collected. Nice, slightly clearer throat as we go. Most important thing as a commentator, my voice. If I get ill, I've got to try and look after it. Maybe I should start practicing some more vocal warm-ups, you know. It would help, actually. Really, you know, limber it up. You've got to limber up, haven't you? It's like you're doing any physical activity, you know. Takes a lot out of your commentating, it really does. I'm always shattered after a double stream on a Friday. But I soldier on, I do it because I love it. Anyway, let's take a look then. Let's pop the details up for you. Take a look at the strategy, and it's a, well, split strategy from the grid, and it looks like most drivers are favouring the medium compound tyre. That softer rubber for the start of this race. It's going to give them that little bit of extra grip to navigate this street track. ET8 Chris and Finley both going to go long on the hard tyres. Let's see how that goes for them. Then Red Flame Joe, Rick, Speed, Jackalacco and Lapis on the medium compound. MX starting on the hards as well. So AlphaTauri joint on the hard tyres as well as Lifebout actually is also on the hards. Joint from Mercedes too. Then RJ, Jake Donaldinho, Palang, Alex Duarte, Ghost and Lawrence all in the medium compound as well. Charge my controls. Now I'm in this formation there. It should be fine. I can't remember. You might get a reprimand from the stewards for that. Just an FYI, I'm the steward for Tier 1. But I don't know, we'll see. I'll talk to Ghost. I'll ask him nicely, maybe. Nah, it's alright. I know it can be dangerous, but I don't think it's caused any problems for anybody, of late at least. I'm too busy watching this. I'm sorry I've taken your attention away from your practice for for the reverse sprint as Speed Alcoholics gone and done a pirouette over there in the Alfa Romeo. It's one way to warm up your tyres, I suppose. But here we go then. We're going to get an awful camera angle, aren't we? Who do we want to ride on board with? Let's ride on board with Rick, the Dutchman. Because that's our camera angle, and it will stay our camera angle, because for some reason it doesn't like spectators in F123. See what I mean? Doesn't matter what I do. Here we go then. 3, 4, 5 red lights for the penultimate round of APPF1. They weren't waiting very long as we are underway and racing. Looks like a decent start from Finley, but ET8 Chris has got him covered off. Poor start from Rick. Red Flame Joe got close, was unable to make any attempts. Down further through the grid, there's a little bit of jostling for position. A few cars side by side, but it's as they were for about the top 7 cars in this race. Alex Duarte trying to make up positions on Ghost a bit further back. They were side by side in towards turn number 2, and the McLaren ahead of the Williams now as they make their way down towards turn number 3, and there's a little bit of more movement in the grid as well. That's Palang trying to make up a place on the house of Jake Donaldinho, not working there. Ghost, the wise old fox, making his way through. Who's gone? It's Lapis, no, on his debut. He's gone straight on at turn 4. Has he got a wing? We got a virtual safety car and it's got no wing. Oh, Lapis, I'm so sorry. Hello, Bumblebee. Nice to have you back in the chat, my friend. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I had work commitments, sadly, so I was... I say work commitments. I got put on a closing shift, so I couldn't be here, sadly. But I wasn't supposed to be here, actually, just so you know. But I got a last-minute swap, which was very, very welcome. So you can thank Joe, my manager... No, Adam, my manager. as we are back under green flag racing, and already Finley on the push. He is not waiting around to give some pressure to ET8 Chris. All forgiven, thank you, Bumblebee. I can breathe easier now. As a Lifebat's making up some places already. He's fighting with Ghost. Ghost, I don't think had much. Oh no, Palang's crashed, and it's going to be the first safety car. We've not even completed the first lap, and we've already got a safety car. Oh my gosh. What do the drivers do now? ETA Chris was maybe faking a comment. I think they just all stay out, in all honesty. It's way too early to go for a gamble, although it looks like somebody might be coming in. Oh, yes, MX. He'll commit to a two-stop now. That's all Lifebout, that's all Ghost, that's all Lapis. You know, Lapis, he'll be happy about the safety car actually, because he's got a wing change, but I think it's a sensible option, especially if you started on the hard tyres. Let's see, Ghost onto the hards. Yeah, good choice on Ghost, and he's got wing damage as well. Lapis onto the hards, of course. If you start on the hard tyres like Lifeboat, you go onto the mediums. So if you do come in, you're going straight back on mediums. You've got a nice fresh set ready to go. So ET8 Chris and Finley, they're favouring track position, which, in all honesty, around this circuit is quite smart. Last thing you want to do is get caught up in the field battling, because despite all the straights, it can be rather difficult to overtake around most of the corners of this circuit, especially coming through here. Quite a unique track is this actually. If you just saw back there, you saw that the track sort of backs onto itself, so you can wave past your competitors as you go past during our practice or qualifying, or if you're lapped perhaps, or you know, a bit further down the grid. But I don't think there's many tracks that can boast that, you know. Let me know if there are any. But as far as I'm aware, this is the only one I've seen where the two parts of the circuit are literally backed onto each other. But they're actually the same piece of road when the circuit is not in use. I don't know. I need to travel more. I feel like I should go to somewhere like Baku or. So I'm really sad actually. When I went out to Canada, I didn't go to the Montreal circuit itself, but we weren't in Montreal for very long, unfortunately. So it was and it was quite late actually when we were there. So, but I'm sure I'll end up going out there again, and I can get my picture right by the Wall of Champions, because yeah, that'd be cool. A nice track, yeah. You know, I used to like it back in the days when I raced on controller. On wheel, not enjoying it so much, just because it's so easy to lock up. But there's some help from Palang, who has crashed. So I've lost a bit of confidence there. Palang and Rick. I've been able to at least feel a bit more stable. I reckon Jeddah would be cool to watch. Yeah, it would be. Although I don't think I can give them any money. Can you not charge your controller? Do you not have a wire to charge while it's racing? Just because one thing with AI is that it can cause issues. I think because you're at the back it's not too bad, but you may get flagged up by the stewards. All broken. I mean, micro USB are rubbish. We'll see. If anyone does come in, just explain your case, Lapis. And me and Ghost will talk about it after the race. Extenuating circumstances, but all I'll say for next week, make sure your controller's nice and charged and ready to go, so then you can avoid any needless penalties if the issue does arise. But safety car's going to come in this lap then. 88 Chris is going to get us restarted, lap 3 going. More safe behind safety car, then Last, then without battery in the middle race. Yeah, that is very true. It is helping the hard runners, exactly. It's going to make their lives a little bit easier. And I think Lifeboat and MX made the right call there. But let's see. The safety car not quite in yet. It's a long, long way to go. When do you punch it is the question. When does ET8 Chris decide to go? Burnt Mylander has peeled the safety car into the pit lane now, so he can go from any moment he so chooses. They're cruising along down this kilometre-long straight as they go to restart this race. I think ET8 Chris has gone. He has. He's dropped the hammer once again. And it's side by side. Red Flame Joe challenging into the lead. Oh, into the first corner, I should say. He's gone side by side with Finley. And Finley's had to concede that position. Red Flame Joe jumps him. Was caught napping the AlphaTauri. The two Aston Martins running quite well in P4 and 5 for the time being. Lifeboat trying to make up places as well. He's on the hunt after Jake Donaldinho in the Haas. There's side by side action as well. Going free wide into the next corner, into turn 3. That never ends well. MX going through lucky. There's no major incidents there. And MX finds his way to the top 10. He's chasing after Lifeboat. I think he's trying to help his teammate as much as he can in order to stop Lifeboat from gaining any more points on him. I think that might be MX's motive here. MX is a canny little driver. He's aggressive. He loves to go for a move if he can. He can get him in some trouble sometimes. But, you know, he's a good racer through and through when it comes down to it. And I've had many battles with him. I've had one Constructors title alongside this man who, in all honesty, carried me that season. Although I don't like to let him think that. So if he does watch this back, I definitely carried that season, MX. You know what I'm talking about. I did everything. Remember that one race at Abu Dhabi where we were going to get a 1-2 and then I crashed? Or something? I don't know. Anyway, your battle for the top 3. This is going to get spicy here. Red Flame Joe really putting the moves on already. Look at the closing speed he's got in that Williams. Here he comes. I've not got the MFD on, I've realised as well, and not using any battery to get that move done. That was just on pure slipstream alone. And here comes Finley getting close as well. This is going to be a lovely little battle. Why, oh why, oh why did I say I was going to commentate with a sore throat? Oh! The two Aston Martins! They've come together! There's another safety car! Oh, Jackalaka and Rick, what have you done? They were running lovely in P4 and 5. Aston Martin. When the fight was so close. I'll just remind you of the positions. Aston Martin only 4 points ahead of AlphaTauri in the fight for P2. And they've thrown it all away. Oh, Aston Martin. The chat's going off in the paddock. Palang in the paddock has put the eyes emoji down. What have you done? Oh gosh. Rick, if you're around, I want to hear. I want to hear what happened. It is a chance to save my voice, yes. I'll save it that little bit. There's Jacko though, the injured Jackalacko. Limping back to the pit lane. Put your bets down, folks. How many more safety cars are we going to get? We're only 5 laps into this race. We've had 2 safety cars. Solid 4. Surely not 5. You barely hear the cars from up here. That seems not correct. Doesn't seem like it actually. The cars are quite loud. Not as loud as they used to be. Win reverse good for the 3rd time in a row. Hey, go for it. You and Martin have been at each other's throats all season long. It's honestly been an absolute spectacle. You reckon 4 safety cars? Yeah, so do I think. I'm going to say 4. Rick would know, actually. I was just thinking, how many safety cars have we had? The last time we were here, Ghost and I were covering, of course, for Tier 2. And I know Tier 2 had a fair few safety cars. I want to say Tier 2 had about 3 or 4 last time we were here, so the track record's good. If Rick is in the chat, I'd love to know. A, what happened, and B, the last time we were here, in Tier 1, Tier 2, whichever, how many safety cars did we have? Because it's a good bit of information to know.
The Nürburgring is the only F1 track to have hosted 3 different races. German Grand Prix.
Marcus says he's seen 3 races this week, all with 4 each. This game seems to have a pattern. Keeps the same amount of sensitivity for like a week, and then next week it'll be different. Yeah. I mean, this track, it's very accident happy, isn't it? And it's mostly down to the fact that it's so difficult. Like, braking into those 90-degree corners is so hard. I'm still getting used to the idea of trail braking with a pedal instead of my left index finger. And my God, is there some difference in it? You've really got to be careful. You really got to be as gentle as possible with that left foot, while also stopping a Formula 1 car that's going, you know, 200 plus kph down a kilometre long straight. Palanx is a horrible track. It is. It's horrible. It is horrible. Bomber Club, horrible track, he says, Palanx. From what I gather in the paddock chat, which is the Discord, is what Ghost has taken to calling it. Yeah, little bit too much throttle apparently on the exit of turn 16. Am I right, Palang? Let me know. But making our way around, and I'm still waiting to hear from Rick. See if the Discord has got anything going on. Oh, here we go. It doesn't. I don't even know. He's not said what's happened. He's just said, "What the F, LMAO." There's his ELO gone. That ELO ranking makes me really sad, by the way. It's okay, Lupus, honestly. I mean, there are rules we have to follow, so if you do get any sort of reprimand for using AI, then we may have to follow that. But like I said, we can maybe try and I can at least discuss with Ghost the situation, or unless if you put forward your case. But leave it till after the race. Focus on your race. Get your head down. Do your best for the time being. Back under, well, almost under green flag conditions. Bert Mylander zoomed off once again. ET8 Chris gonna get this race restarted one more time. Red Flame Joe, he's coming for the hard compounder tyres, by the way, so he's not in between the two championship rivals. He's a little bit further back. He could go to the end on those hards, you know. That wouldn't be a too far-fetched of a scenario. Goes back onto the old mediums he was on from a few laps ago. Clever move from a clever driver. Here we go then. We're back under green flag conditions. ETA Chris has got away. Jake Donaldinho, meanwhile, is challenging Finley around the outside. Doesn't quite get the job done. Meanwhile, Lifebout's up into P4. Speed Alcoholic was having a little bit of a tussle with him as well. Is continuing to have a tussle, but this time with MX. MX to the inside of turn number 2. Going to make his run down towards turn 3. Gets the move done. Makes it stick. Continuing to chase after Lifebout to make sure he doesn't get too far away from him. MX thinking about it. Maybe a little bit of contact between the two of them. There's no love lost between these two. They've definitely had a lot of moments together out on the circuit as teammates and as competitors as well. I mean, they're all competitors even when they're in the same team, but doesn't mean you're not sort of working for the same goals in some regard at the very least. But fairly clean restart for this race. Lifebout chasing after Jake Donaldinho in the Haas. Finley not able to put on as much pressure as he'd like on ET8 Chris on these hard tyres. Maybe doesn't quite have the pace on the hard compounder tyre on this, or maybe hasn't got them quite warmed up. But let's see. Lifebout gets past Jake Donaldinho. Looks like he got a better run out of turn, I want to say number 11, maybe even 12. Oh, and MX, oh, he won't be too pleased with that one. Just a poor bit of traction. The Speed Alcoholic's going to take advantage now too. Look to the inside. Oh, and there goes Lopez round. I think RJ's just tagged the back of him and has sent the Red Bull spinning. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Lopez. That's awful. Meanwhile, MX past Jake Donaldinho, but there might be a move here for the lead of the race. Finley getting very close to the back of ET8 Chris. If only he had the DRS to help him out. Doesn't get the move done on this occasion. Jake Donaldinho into the pits for Haas. He's going to go and onto a set of hard compound tyres by the looks of things. But so far, ET8 Chris leads Finley, then Lifebout and MX. It's Mercedes and AlphaTauri top 4. Gosh, I'm going to have a lem sip after this, I think. Oh, gosh. Oh, who's that in the wall now? That's RJ. Oh, he's gone straight on at turn 3. Has he still got a wing? I'm not quite sure. Let's see off board of the Red Bull. He does still have a wing. RJ's woes continue. He's been having an awful run of luck recently in races. But meanwhile, there's a bit of a tussle going in towards turn number 7. The Ferrari of Lawrence fighting alongside Speed Alcoholic, Alex Duarte and Jack Alaco. These four all very close together. A part of the circuit where if you come together or somebody has an incident in front of you and you're that close, you're not going to be able to avoid it. As it's that castle section, it's terrifying. I've definitely had a few times where a car spun in front of me through there, and it has been a change your underwear after the race situation. But Lifebout closing in on Finley. The two Mercedes eagerly waiting to work together here. MX has dropped off massively after that little bit of an incident he had with Jake Donaldinho at turn 15. And here comes Finley though, already ahead of Lifebout before the DRS zone, or ET8 Chris even before the DRS zone, but DRS now enabled, so ET8 Chris is going to have that to fight with as they make their way down to turn 3. We've been able to get about 5 laps or so, 3 laps of consistent racing action, so we're back under running for now. Hopefully no more safety cars are going to come out, but we'll wait and see for that one. Here comes ET8 Chris, not closing in, being smart about it. I think the best place to go for these moves is turn 1, as it's easier to defend into turn 3, despite it also being a DRS zone. But let's see how we go. Finley leads the way. It's ET8 Chris chasing after him. What else is going on down the circuit? Red Flame Joe chasing after MX, who really needs to get a move on and be that rear gunner for his teammate Finley and get up into the action. Is Lawrence going to make a move on Speed? No, these two have swapped positions. Jack Alaco and Ghost close together as well. Don't take Ghost out as well. Surfer only will take you out, Jacko. He'll kick you or something, I don't know. But this is the fight for P6 here. Speed, Lawrence, Jacko, Ghost, and then a few drivers a little bit further back. Alex Duarte, Lopez, RJ, and Jake Donaldinho, who's coming to pit early. So we'll keep an eye on that undercut from Jake Donaldinho onto the medium compound tyres. I think he started on mediums as well, actually. So an interesting strategy decision. I think banking on that third safety car, coming out late. Here we go, Finley down the straight. He's broken the DRS, and I think he's going to set... Well, ETA Chris and Lifebout are going to tussle with one another now. And ETA Chris has really opened up the gap. And another safety car. Alex Duarte in the McLaren has put it in the wall. You can just about make out the stricken McLaren just before the shot changes there. He's given it a bit too much down the main straight and has binned it in the wall. And we're back under safety car conditions for the first time this evening. What do the drivers do now? Here's the question. I think Finley and ETA might have to come in. This strategy is going to be well up in the air. Jake Donadinho would be loving this a little bit. It's going to extend the life of those medium compound tyres on. Lifebout, of course, has to stop. He hasn't stopped. Oh no, he has stopped actually, so he doesn't have to stop. Let's see who hasn't stopped. It's just Finley and ETA Chris who have yet to stop. Interesting.
Affectionately known as the Jackhammer.
There we go. Let's see then. Finley's come in. Lifebout in. ETA. Oh, so Mercedes and AlphaTauri have called both of their drivers in. And they're on to mediums across the board. They'll try and go to the end if they can. They've served their time on the hards. They don't have to do that again. This puts Red Flame Joe Lawrence now your leaders. Williams 1-4. Not a bad result if they can hold on to that. If the count stopped now, that would be a great podium, wouldn't it? Red Flame Joe, Lawrence, Jackalacco. Bit of redemption for Jacko. Yeah, I mean, him and Rick are, yeah, they're friendly enough. I don't think there'll be too much aggro after that. There might be a few exchange words that, of course, would be in good jest. But there'll be no skin off either for their backs, to put it that way. Jake Donadinho onto the soft tyres. Interesting strategy call that. I'm not sure I can agree to it. Especially, look, all I'll say is, yes, there's a high likelihood of a safety car. I mean, we're on our third one in 12 laps. However, yes, I mean, that would mean about, let's say, roughly 6 to 7 laps if you're under safety car. So, yeah, that's about half the race already under safety car. If we don't have one from now, it'll be a quarter of the race we've had under safety car conditions, which is crazy. Makes you think about this track's position on the calendar at the moment. Just the high mortality rate of cars. The chance of seeing a safety car. But we carry on, waiting for RJ to get himself back onto the back of the grid. And then we'll go over one more tour and we'll get racing once more. Getting close to that 4 safety cars there, Marcus. We're just 1 safety car away. So we'll see, won't we? Alright then, the safety car once again makes its way toward the pit lane, and we have a new race leader for the time being. Red Flame Joe now holds the responsibility of getting us back underway and racing. Everybody now has served their mandatory pit stops as far as I can tell, so we could go to the end if we don't get another safety car, although those on the hard tyres of Red Flame and Lawrence, I find that one difficult. So perhaps another safety car may come out after all. We'll see. Red Flame, you see him weaving, trying to get the temperature into the tyres. But there he goes, getting this race started once again. Chakalaka already challenging the Ferrari and Lawrence in towards turn number 1. Can he make his way around the outside of the Ferrari? Not quite. Chakalaka unable to make the pass, and now Ghost is going to take the opportunity down the inside of turn number 2. Side by side, the two of them go now. Chakalaka able to carry more speed through the corner and able to outclass the Scotsman, but Ghost still holding it in there. He's still got a foot in this door as they go in towards turn number 3. I think it's the position 4 Ghost. It is. Chakalaka and Ghost trade positions, and there. Meanwhile, Finley is now trying to get past Chakalaka as quick as possible. He does not want to spend any more time near the 2 Mercedes cars, but Ghost and Jacko are going to make this one easy for either of them. And there was almost a calamitous moment there between Jacko and Lifeboat. Now Lifeboat E-Tech Chris Speed's getting involved as well. This could be absolute tragedy for the Mercedes race if they are unable to get past Chakalaka and go after Finley. They can't let Finley get away and get himself back into the lead of this race, because it's just going to draw him ever closer to that coveted Tier 1 championship, as Finley now ahead of Ghost. He's got 2 cars in between himself and Lifeboat, and all these cars are eligible to go fighting. They can all go racing. They've got every right to. As Speed's got a little bit too much into that corner, he's made a bit of contact, I think, with ET8 Chris, but I think he hasn't lost too much from it, luckily. Or is it with Ghost, perhaps? Oh, Ghost is way down the order now too. Oh, what has happened there? I didn't quite see. It was all going on in the background as another car was making their way through turn 15 and down the hill towards 16. But now Finley up another place, absolutely flying. But another driver flying. Red Flame Joe, 3.4 seconds up the road. He's gone. He has left all the others and said, see you later, folks. You guys can fight on. I'll just sit here up in the lead. That's the best way to win at Baku, honestly. I have one win around this circuit against real people. I've definitely won at this track against the AI. Not too hard to be done, but here comes MX and ET8 Chris. MX has got to make this difficult for ET8 Chris if he can. Isn't able to. ET8 Chris just swoops around the outside, just about getting the move done as they exited the corner. That was a brave move from ET8 Chris to make his way past the German there as they went through. But the one time I did win at this track, I got myself a very sizable lead after the first lap, after a poor start from one of the race leaders and a poor getaway from, well, a big mistake, I mean, from Davila, one of the founding members of APPF1 from a long while ago, which inherited me the lead. It's rain on the cards, everybody. Ghost is on the intermediate tyres. Is this a stroke of genius from the 6-time sprint champion, or is it a bit too early, a bit too ambitious? When is the rain coming? Nobody reported any rain to me in the chat. I normally ask, I forgot to this time. Is the rain going to come and put yet another spanner in the works of this race? I'm not sure, but here comes Finley once again. He's going to dispatch Red Flame Joe with very little effort, I must say, and Red Flame unable to do too much about that. As Finley says the fastest lap of the race, looks like he used a lot of VRS to get that one done and catch back up. Finley looking very good at the moment. ETA Chris, meanwhile, championship leader. He's just got past Jackalacco and MX, I think, as he gone through, and I think the rain is just about to arrive. There's that little frame jump, that little skip in the game. Is the rain here? Yeah, yes, it is. If you look very, very closely, I know it's hard to tell, you can see the drips of rain coming. Ghost on the intermediate tyres already. Is this a masterstroke from him? Look how far back he is. They're about to cross each other. Actually, the leaders and Ghost, there they go. If you're looking on the track map. An interesting call from Ghost. Oh, and who's that? Lifeboat round at turn 7. The rain already catching folks out. It's not looking good for those on the slicks. They've still got a few more corners to navigate. They've got to take it really, really easy. We're so going to see another safety car at this point. We have to. But look at Ghost. Meanwhile, nice and cozy on those intermediate tyres. Could be a good call. And there it is. There's a virtual. We've had 2 full and 1 virtual. What's happened? Now it's a full safety car. We've reached that magic 4. There's an incident at turn 15 involving Red Flame Joe Lapis in the Red Bull. Lifeboat has, looks like he got himself a legal overtake. Ghost won't be too happy with this safety car, as he's going to have to slow right down and everybody will get a free pit stop, and his early move onto the intermediate tyres will be completely null and void now. Ooh, Lawrence nearly into the wall there. That was very close. Ghost won't be too happy in the cockpit of that Williams, I can tell you that much. Everybody into the pits. Everybody in. Another safety car then brings this race to being neutralised once more, as everybody now having to get ready for some wet weather racing. Ghost has just got himself a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car conditions. Went just a bit too much over the delta as the leader caught up to the safety car. Oh, Ghost. That is a huge shame for Ghost. Into the pits he comes. He can't serve it under the safety car, of course. Has to serve it in race conditions. The Williams crew come out for him in the distance. Change those tyres on the Williams car, and that will ruin Ghost's race. Oh, it's safety car conditions again. And as we were after the first two safety cars, more or less, with Finley and ETA, Chris were top two. Now ticking down the laps then, we wouldn't be too far from restarting this race. Once again, Ghost is going to close up on the rest of the grid, and only to then go into the pits after the first lap of green flag racing once again. We're going to get this race started once again at the end of this lap, I'd imagine, so that'll be lap 20, and that'll leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 7 laps of racing left, and hopefully we don't see another safety car, although with this tricky conditions now, we could very much see another safety car to bring it to number 5, or at that magic number 4 that predicted by myself and by Short Marcus as well in the chat, or Marcus Short if you're going by the name as it appears on the YouTube. That's where we're at. Jake Doradiño's out of the race. RJ Blair's out of the race. Alex Duarte out of the race. Rick out of the race. Palang out of the race. It looks like RJ was out of the race under the safety car conditions. He's done a George Russell and gone out under safety car. Not what you want to do. Not the best look as a racing driver. ET8 Chris right where he needs to be, challenging Finley, making sure that he's not just going to walk away with this. It's going to come down to who's got better control in the wet conditions. Let's see, safety car in this lap as predicted. Finley's now going to slow it right down, let Bert Mylander rush off into the distance in that red Mercedes. And we are going to wait as we look to get this race underway once again. Let's ride along with ETA Chris. You can see Finley just swerving around, getting some warmth into those green walled intermediate tyres. When is the AlphaTauri going to go? Well, Bert Mylander has just pulled into the pits, so it could be any moment from now. When are we going? When do we go? There he goes. Finley gone already. Caught ET8 Chris napping a little bit. MX not caught napping though. He was ready and raring for that one. He's going to pull alongside ET8 Chris already. Should hopefully time this one very well as they come toward the line. It's going to be an AlphaTauri 1-2. MX goes far too deep though, and he invites ET8 Chris. MX into the wall. Gets too much curve as they go through. Jackalacco now finds himself on the podium. Lawrence in P4 now. MX all the way down to P5. Red Flame Joe challenging as well as they go through. Fairly clean opening lap, but MX went for the move, didn't quite make it work, and has dropped all the way down to P5 for good measure as well. Up is side by side. He's racing with Speed Alcoholic. How does he like the slippery conditions, the Red Bull driver? We'll wait and see if he can make any progress out there. Meanwhile, MX not making progress, doing the exact opposite. Red Flame Joe now has got past him. If there was any important moves to be made in this race, it was that one for Red Flame Joe. And Speed and Lopez seems to have had a bit of an incident out on the track there. Doesn't look like it was too serious. Doesn't look like there's any damage on either of the cars, but gaps are starting to open up, and the closest fight here is between Lifebout and MX. Let's see, Lifebout getting very racy. He wants to get past MX. He's touched the back of the AlphaTauri. He's that impatient. You can't go through the car, Lifebout. You've got to go round him. You've got to find a way. Don't come together into turn 15, please, guys, because that will be a mess that I very much don't want to clean up. This will probably be Sunday evening, most likely. That's normally when I get around to doing the reports. We'll see. All quiet at the front. All quiet at the back. It's the fight for P6 that we're interested in. Lifebout and MX close together. The closest fight out on the circuit as we go racing for these last few laps of the race now. Lifebout going to pull alongside the AlphaTauri, both using the ERS to effect. MX really trying not to let Lifebout through. He cut to the inside, moves back to the outside now as well. And MX not going deep this time, although he might have done actually. As he's gone through, he's damaged not his car, but somebody's out. Lawrence is out. Are we going to have another safety car? Lawrence out of the race. Goes to serve this time penalty. No safety car though. Still going. Lap 21 of 26. Closest battle now is MX and Lifebout. Did MX get damaged? Is MX and Lopez, I should say, even. He did. That front right end plate is missing on the AlphaTauri. That's not going to help his campaign. That's really going to hinder his progress through this race now. All the way to the end. A little bit more difficult. It's not as big as it used to be. But in these wet conditions where every bit of downforce goes a long, long way, it's going to make that a little bit more difficult. We'll have a lot more understeer to deal with. Gosh, excuse me. As well as ill, I'm very, very tired. It's been a long few days for me. But MX, oh, he's gone even deeper into the wall at turn 15. Now he's got to just give that one up, MX. He's lost the whole wing now. He's going to be so fast down this next bit, but he's got to navigate the few little kinks in this straight first. He'll be so slow coming through there. Just be careful, Lapis. Don't get too close to him until you can get past. There he goes, the Red Bull. MX surely got to come into the pits now. It's going to be 3 wide perhaps as they come down speed. Look at the challenge, the Red Bull. Look at the closing speed on the Alfa Romeo. Parted in the middle of the track is Lapis. Side by side, the two of them go. The Finnish driver and the South African. And it looks like speed has just got ahead of Lapis in towards turn 1. Little bit of light contact as they went through. Not too many dramas there though. Ghost meanwhile going to get past MX. No, he's in the pits again. Has it dried out? What's Ghost doing? What tyres is he going on? They're soft. He's going to go for that fastest lap. It's drying out. Safety cars let the rain go. Meanwhile, Lapis has brought a yellow flag out. Speed and Lapis, if they come together again, perhaps. But all the gaps are fairly large now. Not really any battles going on. Finley looks fairly comfortable out there for the time being, although that didn't look so comfortable on the exit out of the castle section there. A little bit squirrely as he gets some oversteer, trying to get the power down on those wet race tyres. And now Ghost, we'll keep an eye on him on those soft compound tyres. It's still very wet out there, isn't it? You can just see how greasy that track is, but the rain has stopped. It's no longer raining. You can even see, look how much it's locking up and just sliding those tyres through. Maybe in about a lap, 2 laps time the truck will be a bit better, but for now it's going to be poodling around at a slow pace. So Lifebout is closing on Red Flame Joe, looking to break into the top 4 if he can. Red Flame will fight this. Red Flame has proved himself to be quite the driver in Tier 1. Over the last couple seasons he's been with us. Not quite been a big player in the championship, but has certainly done an absolute slap-up job this season. He's best of the rest after the likes of the 2 Mercedes and Finley. And, well, he never gives up. Normally brings in a fairly decent result, and it's all about consistency in sport and in Formula 1 and motorsport as well, especially as the more consistent you are, the better it goes. And Ghost is out. Those soft tyres have seen him crash into the barrier. I don't think that's going to bring out a safety car. It's too late for that. But Ghost out of this race now. He might just get classified. I'm not quite sure if he's covered 90%, but we've lost about half the drivers in this race now. And there's just 2.5 laps left to go. Lapis and Speed close together once more. Lapis seems to have a bit more consistency, a bit more pace in these wet conditions. We know what Finnish drivers are like. They love a little bit of slipperiness out there. You've seen it with the likes of Kimi Räikkönen and Valtteri Bottas. They love that wet weather, don't they? They love a bit of rally driving. And it's not quite rally driving, a Formula 1 car in the wet, but it's close with just how little grip there is in these slippery conditions. And Lapis really wrestling the car around there, but not slowing him down in the slightest as Speed's trying. You can see those twitchiness of the Red Bull coming through turn 16 as they go into the final 4 corners of the circuit. Oh, he's in the wall. Speed's in the wall. That sounded like a mighty crash. I didn't quite see it, but I know exactly what's happened. He's given it too much. He's gone straight into the barrier. Another victim of Baku. It's like all I've got to do on Tuesday is not crash. Like, I can go as fast as I want or as slow as I want. Just don't crash. Because if I could make it to the end, this is just proven that I can get into the top 7. If that's how many people end up crashing out on Tuesday. If that indeed does happen. Hopefully it doesn't rain on Tuesday, because that's going to suck. But not a lot to talk about now, really. All the drivers just got the gaps open, settling themselves into the race. Finley doing a great job out there in the lead. He has been a great challenger to these two Mercedes drivers, Lifeboat and ET8 Chris, who started off the season strong and started to let it slide a little bit. They're a bit like my favourite football team, Arsenal. They always start off strong, get to Christmas, and they start losing games. You know, it's rather true, actually. But Finley's done a slap-up job. He's had the odd bad result. He's not let it shake him, has he? He's been such a great challenger in this championship, and continues to be so. MX is out of the race now, too. He's crashed at turn 7. It looks like he's giving it a bit too much. Lifeboat, meanwhile, caught up to Red Flame Joe. Going to make the pass now. Looking to go around the outside. No bother there. Looks to go down the inside now. Not able to go past there either. Without the assistance of DRS, it's been made all the more difficult. Red Flame's lagging a little bit as well. That might make it even more harder for the Dutch driver. But let's see as they go down towards turn number 3. Lopez into the pits now. And I don't think this track's going to dry out anytime soon. Goes to a bad call after what should have been a great call. Other than the safety car. Lopez, though, going to come in for soft tyres. That's a decision. Considering of what happened to Ghost. And Lifebout unable to get past this Williams. Red Flame Joe making himself as wide as possible. I told you he was going to fight this. I said it, didn't I? He wasn't just going to let Lifebout pass him lying down, especially with a lap and a half to go on the penultimate lap of the race. And there's Lifebout and Red Flame fighting each other, but what can Red Flame do to keep him back? He's not got any draft ahead of him to keep Lifebout from soaring past him on the straight. He's going to have to use every bit of his racing ability to keep Lifebout at bay. That's not going to help, though. Big snap of oversteer coming out of Castle section. Lifebout getting close once more. He shouldn't really go for the move here. He's trying to make Red Flame Joe that little bit more intimidated by him in the mirrors, though, as they go through. They're closing on Jacko as well, who's not too far down the road. But I think Jacko's got enough of a gap in order to keep him behind. And he does like some wet conditions, does the Scotsman. He's got webbed feet, he does, as he lives in the Highlands. But 9 drivers we've now lost at this Baku Grand Prix. I hope we don't lose any more. We're on the final lap. It's almost over. You can make it to the checkered flag, then you have done it. You've completed Baku, and you never have to touch the track again for a little while longer. Let's see what we've got. Lifebout and Red Flame Joe continue their campaign against one another as they go. Lifebout just to the inside of 2. No dice on that occasion. Can he make it work into 3? Oh no, he's not going to. He's given a bit too much out of 2, been a bit too eager, and he's picked up some wing damage because of it. Lost about 2 seconds or a second or so from Red Flame, and he's not going to be able to make that move. Over eagerness from Lifebout is going to see his position in the championship slip away that little bit more. Let's take a look at the points while we got a moment. Let's see. Ghost says whoops in the chat as well. A big whoops from Ghost. Point system, let's go. So 20 points for a win. I'll work this out after the race actually, because I don't want to miss anything. But 20 points for a win, 16 for P2, 14 for P3, 12, 11, 10, 1 down from every position all the way down to 15. But we're only focusing on the top 6. But Finley then, after a long grueling race, we've had 4 safety cars, a stint of wet weather which we're going to end this race on, but Finley has fought hard and fought well for this victory. He can rest now after these next few kilometres as he wins the Baku Grand Prix here in Tier 1. 88 Chris is going to come home second place, trailing his rival. And this is going to go down to the wire, I think. We'll look at the standings in a few moments' time. Jack Alacco going to come home P3 after a shocking evening for Aston Martin when they came together. Then Red Flame Joe going to come home P4, held strong from this man Lifebout, who gave it a little bit too much pepper. And we just wait for Lupis on his debut, going to pick up P6, looking to go for fastest lap as well. And by the way he's driving that Red Bull around the circuit, he is looking at fairly decent shoeing for that as he drifts around turn number 15. Let's have a look while I've got a few moments. Let's have a look. There goes Lupis across the line. Finishes off. Point system. So what, 5th with Lifebout? So 5th would be 11 points. Gosh, I'm not the maths man, folks. I mean, I could do maths. That's not the problem. It's just people keep messaging in Discord, and I'm trying to look for it. There's 11 points for Lifebout. That'll put him on 128. 20 points will put ET8 Chris. No. How many points? 16 points will put ET8 Chris on 126. Finley will be on 121. And how many did I say for Lifebout? 118. So, as far as I can tell, there is going to be 5 points in it going into the final round between Finley and ET8 Chris, with Lifebout 3 points behind that. But Finley is going to be your winner today. Takes fastest lap as well. He'll get an extra point for that, so 4 points in it. Then Chris and Jacko flank him on the podium, with Red Flame and Lifebout finishing off the top 5. And Lupis just finishing the race 2. MX Speed, Ghost, Lawrence, RJ, Jake, Alex, Rick and Palang did not finish this session. That was chaotic, Lupis, indeed. But yes, so if my maths is correct, we go into Brazil, the final round, fantastic circuit, with 4 points between ET8 Chris, who still leads for now, and Finley, with then a further 3 points between Lifebout and ET8 Chris. So in total, that's 7 points in it for this Drivers' Championship. The Constructors, done, more or less. No one's going to take that from Mercedes, but it's all eyes on the Drivers' Championship going into the final round in Brazil next week, which should be an absolute barnstormer, as we have another close championship battle that we will look back on fondly. We've had so many good ones this year, haven't we? And we've been looking back to some of them on the Discord, so if you're in there, take a little look back. Have a look back at the stats, maybe take a look at the ELO rankings, see where I positioned back in the day. I was top 10, folks, top 10 of the drivers in the community. But I digress. I'm going to go now and rest my voice, get ready for this ESRL finale. Please, 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 please join me there if you want to enjoy some fantastic racing where Short Marcus and TF Martin throw down for the championship in a few moments' time. But I have been Sumo. It's been a pleasure to bring you this commentary, hoping I can be here for the finale of Tier 1. But if not, I will see you guys very, very soon for some ESRL. And if I don't see you for that, well, I'll see you at some point in the future. Have a very good evening, folks, and good night.